Did you know that the Yoruba culture has some of the most innovative financial systems, known as Àjò and Èsúsù? These ancient systems are not just fascinating, but also incredibly practical. But oftentimes they are misunderstood or worse, forgotten. Let me take you on a quick journey to rediscover them. Hi, my name is Oyinda Mola and this is the Yoruba Tech channel. I talk about culture, lifestyle, and motherhood on this channel. When the British landed on Nigerian shores, they dismissed many of our practices as barbaric. Yet financial practices like Esùsú and Àjò stand as a testament to the complexity, innovation, and communal spirits of Yoruba culture. While some people have argued that parts of our heritage should remain hidden so as not to reveal our secrets to outsiders, others say that we risk losing our heritage if we don't share and preserve it, which I believe there should be a balance. There's some things that should be documented and preserved within specific circles, while some other things need to become common knowledge to prevent history from fading away. For example, when I read about how ancient Egyptian culture was erased over time, I was struck by the loss. Much of their heritage disappeared because the religious and cultural scholars who were in charge of preserving the sculptures were eliminated. And just like that, thousands of years of culture was gone. Thankfully, in Yoruba culture, the Ìṣẹ̀ṣe spirituality and many other traditions are still alive, well, and thriving, thanks to the efforts of the community and also the young people that are committed to keep practicing these things and keep them alive. This gives me hope for the Yoruba culture. So now let's explore the fascinating world of Àjò and Èsúsù. I had an interesting conversation with a big auntie of mine last year. She mentioned that Esùsú and Àjò were essentially the same thing. That moment was a wake-up call for me. It highlighted how little we sometimes know about our culture, whether old or young. Àjò simply means saving. Kíyàn kó nǹkan jọ. Àjò is very straightforward. You can save by yourself or appoint someone to save on your behalf. Oftentimes a professional, which is known as an Alajo. They would be in charge of managing your savings instead of, you trying to figure out how much you've saved or where to save the money. When saving individually, all you need to do is put aside money at regular intervals. It could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly. Very simple. However, with an Alajo, you contribute your savings to someone who collects money from other people. So he has multiple customers. Think of the Alajo as a personal banker, safeguarding and sometimes growing your funds. Do Alajos get paid? Yes. They typically take a small fee or commission for their services. Let me tell you a story about Alajo Somolu, the legendary thrift collector from Lagos. He became iconic for his memory, honesty, and integrity, and he was so respected that there are sayings and songs about him. Born in 1915, Taiwo Olonaike Alpheus, popularly known as Alajo Somolu, was renowned for his honesty and sharp memory. He ran his business without modern tools like calculators or spreadsheets, and his customers were oftentimes amazed by how well he could remember all their savings without writing anything down. People trusted him completely, and he was like a walking bank to many traders all over Lagos. One saying about him goes, "Orí ẹ̀ pé bíi Alajo Somolu tó fodidi ọdún mẹ́ta gbáko láì kọ orúkọ ẹnìkankan sílẹ̀ tí ò dẹ̀ ṣíwó san fẹ́nikẹ́ni." This means your mind is as sharp as Alajo Somolu's mind, who kept thrift savings for 3 years without writing down the names and never made a single mistake in payment. There's also another one that goes like, "Orí ẹ̀ pé bí Alajo Somolu tó ta mọ́tò tó fi ra kẹ̀kẹ́." When you first hear this, it sounds insulting, but when you think deeply, it means that you're so intelligent, like the Alajo Somolu that sold his boss to buy a bicycle. Now, why did he sell his boss to buy a bicycle? That seems stupid when you think about it. Well, in reality, it was so that he could reach the distance that those with cars might not reach to get across to his clients. Lagos markets are very crammed and very busy. So there are certain places that a car might not reach, but a bicycle would reach. It makes commercial sense for him to get a bicycle instead of a car. And that is why the saying goes that way. This man continued with the business until 2010, when he became 95 years old. And even after his children pressured him to retire, people continued to come to his house to deposit their daily contributions. And by this time, obviously, he was no longer going to them. They were coming to him. So that is the incredible story about Alajo Somolu. Esùsú is a communal way to access interest-free credit. It involves a group of trusted individuals pulling their resources together, and it's a fantastic example of peer-to-peer trust. For those of us that are into cryptocurrency, I'm sure you've heard of the term peer-to-peer before. It simply means financial transactions between two people. Typically, this means that there's no financial institutions involved or no middleman. So that's what we mean when we say peer-to-peer in finance. Let's say there's a group of 12 people and they agree to contribute a fixed amount monthly, for instance, 100,000 naira. At the start of the year, each member draws lots and they pick specific or random numbers. It could be random, you could just decide to pick whatever order you want, maybe in the order that you find people. In month 1, everyone will send 100,000 naira to member 1, who also adds 100,000 naira of their own. This gives member 1 a lump sum of 1.2 million naira. In month 2, everyone sends to member 2. In month 3, everyone sends to member 3, and so on and so forth until everyone has their share. The beauty of Esùsú lies in two things. First of all is the flexibility. If you have an emergency, you can negotiate with someone whose turn it is to switch places with you and get your own funds earlier. For instance, you're number 11 and it's January currently, and that means you are meant to collect your lump sum in November, but you run into a financial emergency. Whoever is meant to collect in January, you could have a discussion with them and say, peer to peer, is it possible I take your spot and then you can take my spot in November? That's the benefit of this. If member 1 doesn't have any emergencies or doesn't have anything to do with that money at that time and they're willing to let go of their spots, that's it. You already have you have access to interest-free credit upfront. Something else that makes Esùsú special is the trust. This system relies heavily on trust, making it very crucial to only join groups where all the members are reliable or known. Of course, there are risks and safeguards in Esùsú. There are different ways Esùsú is practiced. In some versions, rather than everyone sending money to the person of the month, they sometimes assign a central disburser who gets the money every month from every other person and then sends to the person of the month. However, this introduces a risk of the disburser absconding with the funds. So the safer method is for everyone to send their contributions directly to the recipient of the month. This eliminates middlemen and minimizes risks. The larger lesson here is that these practices show that Yoruba communities are financially literate long before modern banking systems arrived. Àjò and Èsúsù are rooted in trust, community, and integrity. Women in particular, since ancient days, have benefited immensely from these systems by using them to build businesses, to buy homes, to pay school fees for their kids, and support their families. A study by Shalewa Olawoyeman highlights how women in Ondo and Lagos states in Nigeria rely on Àjò to access credit and foster social support networks when they face issues, especially when they're unbanked or their needs are not being met by commercial banking systems. In urban Nigeria today, these practices still persist as alternatives to formal banking, proving that they are enduring and they will always be relevant. What can we learn from this? It means that there's profound lessons to be had in the financial literacy and cooperation in Yoruba culture. Systems like Àjò and Èsúsù reflect trust, ingenuity, and communal support, and they remind us of the importance of preserving and celebrating our heritage. After all, these are not just like relics of the past. These are blueprints for building a better and more inclusive financial future. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you or your family ever participated in Àjò or Èsúsù? What was your experience like? I do hope it was positive. Until next time.